what I have found with the women that I've been working with over the years is that so many women have a gnawing feeling in their belly that they are meant for more, and they're not doing it. And often they don't know where to start. Does anyone feel that way? Put a heart in the comments. Keep the hearts coming. If we could get to like 10,000 hearts today, I think that puts me up somewhere. I can't remember where. I don't know how it works, but that's on TikTok. So we're already at 1.2 and we just got started. It's so fun. So put a heart in the comments if you're somebody who knows you're meant for more and you're not doing it yet. Just put a heart in the comments. I'm gonna wait for the hearts while I have a sip of my coffee. Listen, that was me. I was a teacher for a decade, from 2001 to 2011. And I still didn't know. I was in my 30s. I still didn't know what I was here for. I still didn't know what I was meant for. So don't you dare think for 1 minute that there's something wrong with you if at 40 or 50 or 60 or 30 that you don't know or you don't feel like you have stepped into your calling. See, God doesn't have a timeline like we have a timeline. But what he does expect of us is to be obedient and listen to the pull. So if you are being pulled to do more, if you are being pulled to step in and actually embody and embrace the woman that you are meant to be, then you're in the right place. So I assume that you've put a heart in the comments if you're somebody who has a gnawing feeling in your belly that you're meant for more. You have to acknowledge it. So like I said, I started telling the story. I was a teacher for a decade, from 2001 to 2011. I had a really great career as a teacher. I was a high school teacher. I taught world history, phys ed, and English. And I was a really good teacher. I connected to the teens. I loved coaching. I loved the creativity. I'm an English fanatic, so teaching English and supporting kids as they understood difficult concepts and helping them write was such a joy. That's right, we're no longer hiding, Alita. Amen, sis. But I knew I was meant for more, even though I had a really lucrative career. I was moving quickly through the stages in my career. In fact, the year that I left teaching, hello from Kosovo. Hello, that's amazing. The year that I left teaching, I had actually been asked by my administration to apply for a leadership position. Now I want to tell you a quick story. I was told by my principal, my teaching coach, and the head of my department that they thought I should apply for this leadership position, which would have been the headship of the English department at my level. And I was really excited about it. And so I applied for it. And I nailed that interview. I mean, the principal, who was the person who told me to apply, was the one that I did the interview with. And I thought I had it. I thought it was in the bag. Hi, Deanna. And then something really crazy happened. I didn't get the job. So the person who told me to apply, the one who was interviewing me, the person who gave me all of my teaching evaluations, my teaching coach, the one who coached me, I had a coach, by the way, even when I was a teacher, and the head of the department all recommended that I apply for this position. And so I applied for it and I didn't get it. How did I not get it? How did I not just slide into that position? Because I was asked to apply for it. I was told, you need to apply for this position. I'll tell you why. God had a different plan. That 10 years of teaching, that decade of teaching, was not supposed to be the last step for me. It was just a stepping stone to the work I do today. And I'm able to look at my teaching career and think, of course, hi Nikki Blessing, love your name. Of course, 10 years of teaching was helping me become a better coach and mentor and teacher and preparing me for the work that I'm doing today. But I didn't get that position, and so I left teaching. I was so angry that I actually left that school. I was working internationally at an American school, and I said, I'm done. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. There's too much politics, because the guy who got the job was not qualified, had never taught English, and knew nothing about it. So I decided that it was a sign. And so I left teaching. I retired from teaching a decade after I started. And I went into fitness, because right at the same time, I was becoming a fitness professional and a fitness competitor. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to leave teaching and I'm going to support women in their transformation. I'm going to help women get fit and strong. Hi, Regan. I'm going to help them step into the version of themselves that they want to be. Won't he do it? Because now I recognize that it was all part of the plan. That the principal and my teaching coach and the head of my department had a plan. They thought I should have that position. But God was saying, no. See, here's the thing. She's not supposed to stay here. So you're going to make a different decision. She's going to leave teaching, and she's going to take the next step in her journey to transformation, which is to be a coach for women, a fitness coach. And it was in that transformation, it was in that shift, it was at that moment in my life when everything felt so confusing, when everything felt so unclear, when everything felt like, wait a minute, I thought I was supposed to be doing this over here, that I realized I was being set up by God. And I tell you this, good morning, Shay. I tell you this because it's important that you understand that you might feel confused. You might feel like you don't have a purpose. You might feel like like God kind of forgot about you. You might feel like he skimmed over you and he went to the next person because you see them just fully living in it. And you might feel a little bit sorry for yourself. I'm going to tell you something. You've probably already done, or you're already doing, what you're called to do. Imagine. Imagine if that was true for a minute. If the thing that you're here to do, you're already doing, or you've already done. Wouldn't that make you feel slightly relieved? By the way, share this out to your people. Let's get more people on these lives. We need more women awakening to their truth. Good morning, Michelle. It's so good to see you. So it's 6:50 in your world. Atta girl. So yesterday, we talked about awakening to who you are. And I shared a story about how I felt like I was a nobody on a basketball team. You guys, I was 15 at this time, or 16. I was a nobody on a basketball team. That's what I thought. I was told that I wasn't a good basketball player. But when it came time for awards night, I was awarded the Spirit Award by my coach. At the age of 16, you know what he said to me? You know what he said to a room full of people about me? And I never forgot. He said, she's always the first one on the court and the last one to leave. And she's the loudest voice from the bench supporting her sisters. She's a champion of her teammates. and she has the strongest spirit on the team. And I'm giving her the Spirit Award. You can be whatever you want to be, Amy. They need teachers. Go get your teaching degree. You can travel the world and be a teacher just because you speak English. You don't even have to have a teaching degree. You could go anywhere in the world right now and teach English because you speak English and you get paid for it. The world is your oyster. But back to my original point. At the age of 16, I was already doing what I was called to do. It's already inside of you, sis. Stop acting like it's something new. You're overlooking yourself. Now, this is what happens, is we overlook ourselves because we've been overlooking ourselves all of our lives. And I'm gonna light my candle because we're gonna get into day 2. So yesterday we were awakening who we are. And I left everybody with the question in the guide. I left you with some homework. Only false prophets will block and delete me. Block, delete. Even just saying something like that means that you're a scam. Yesterday I left a question for you to think about, and it's in the guide. And the question was this: who have I become because of what happened to me instead of who God says I am? Who have I become because of what's happened to me instead of who God says I am? So that was the question that you were to sit on yesterday. And I ask you to do this homework because when you sit and think about it in the quiet of the day, things become really clear. If you do this work, if you actually follow the homework, by Friday morning, you will feel different. So who wants to feel different by Friday morning? I want to feel different by Friday morning. You guys, I haven't even reached my full potential yet. Not even close. Not even close. If you do this work, if you answer these questions, if you move along with us every single day for the next 4 days, if you share this out to your community and bring more people in, more women will have that experience. Let me see. I just noticed that my light was off. You're just starting. I am 57. I'm probably one of the oldest people on here. I'm 57, 5'7", in 3 years. Thank you for the follow. In 3 years, I'm gonna be 57 years old. And do you know what I told my boyfriend the other day? I said to him, I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm not even close because he's looking to retire. Oh, thank you, Mario. Look at the hearts. You guys were at 4.4 thousand. Oh, I love you. Keep giving the hearts, TikTok. Oh, somebody wants in, they can't get in. But it's so important for you to understand that there's no limit. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You are not done. If you're not dead, you're not done. See, I think I am the oldest. I'm 57 and I started a ministry. I'm 57 and I've completely upended my whole life. I'm starting a coffee company. I'm sitting in my what will be Crush Coffee Cafe, and I hope every single one of you come to this cafe when it opens. I want to hold an event here for the women in my community next year. I'm not even joking. I want to hold a live event in this beautiful space for the women who have been in my world and who are transforming in my world, because I know that this space will inspire women to do more. Because when you look around, when this thing is done, you're going to look around and say, if she can do this from nothing, I can do anything. And so I want to have an event here in the Crush Coffee Cafe next year. Crush Cafe and Roastery. I want to do an event for my women in this beautiful, lush gorgeous space. And I'll probably be about 58 by the time that happens. So when people say to me, oh, I feel old, I say, shut it. Because I'm 10 or 15 years older than you, and you're just getting started. Dang straight you're coming. Joanne's 74. Right, and Joanne, I don't know what you're doing. I know that you've got something up your sleeve. But there are women in my world, like Joanne Price Day, who came into my world years ago and started healing themselves so that they could really step into who they're here to be. So today, we're focusing on awakening to what has silenced you. And the women who come into my world, the women who I work with, by the way, I work with women one-on-one, and I'm always open to take more clients, more one-on-one clients, always. You know how people say, I have 3 openings, they're lying. I always have openings. I could never turn somebody down if they wanted to walk with me one-on-one. And see, what happens when people walk with me one-on-one is we move at lightning speeds to transformation. And one of the first things we do is start the healing journey. What's working? What's happening underneath? What's happening that you are feeling like you need me? I would love Shay. Shay's going to help out. And Regan's coming. Who's going to come? You guys, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine having everybody here. So we are awakening what has silenced us. There's something holding you back. What is it? Is it the ex? Is it the marriage that you're in that's unhappy? And if you left, you would actually have the freedom to do the things you want to do. But because you're there, you feel stuck. That's really common. So you're making the choice to stay. You're not stuck. You're not a tree. Trees can't get up and move on their own, but humans can. So if you are in something, a job, a relationship, a position in your health, financial position, anything, and you're not moving, it's your fault, nobody else's. So remember, get up, pick up your mat and walk. It's up to you. So we're just going to assume that you want to pick up your mat and walk. Because what's the point of me talking to anybody who doesn't want to pick up their mat and walk? I talk to people who want to heal. I talk to people who are feeling the pull. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen tomorrow, but I sure hope so. Because the reality is that you don't know how much time you have. I don't know how much time I have. Do you understand that when at the age of 40, I decided to leave teaching, leave my retirement, and go into fitness and put on 4-inch heels and a little itsy bitsy bikini and get on a stage against a bunch of other women who were in their 20s. You know why I did that? And by the way, I won first place. You know why I did that? Because time was running out. And I knew that if I didn't hurry up and do the things that I wanted to do, that I would be one of those people on my deathbed who said, why did I not do that? In fact, you want to know something crazy? I've actually thought about doing it again. Isn't that crazy? I've actually thought about doing it again. I was saying to my boyfriend the other day, I need some kind of a fitness challenge. And I said, for me, it has to be really, really big. And he said, like what? I said, I would love to compete again. As a 60 or I'd be like, let's just say I did it next year, as a 58-year-old woman in a fitness competition with other 58-year-old women or younger. I would do it in a second because you know what? In 30 years, I may be dead. So why wouldn't I do it now? Why won't you do the thing now? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I look back on my life at all the times that I waited for things, and I'm so glad that I don't wait anymore. Because I waited my life away Some of you are in your 20s and your 30s. Do you know how blessed you are? In your 40s? I'm 57. I wish that I had started my ministry. I wish that I had done all kinds of stuff earlier, but I didn't. But I'm doing it now. And I run with women who want to go fast. So if you're somebody who's looking for a mentor because you want to move fast, DM me. We'll move fast, baby. And I won't let you get away with excuses. Whatever this thing is, whatever this thought or this belief or this person, whatever this is in your life that's holding you back, do you realize it's living rent-free in your life and taking up the whole house? Anything, hi Tina, anything that's holding you back is probably living rent-free. Maybe it's something that somebody, an ex, said to you. They said something and you just can't get it out of your head. You're a loser, or I can't wait to see you fail. That's what I heard. And you keep playing it on repeat. Or somebody said something to you like, oh, that's really hard. Do you guys realize when I launched my coffee company, there was a man who was helping me get things off the ground. And you know what he said to me? He said, this is a really hard industry, and mostly men are in this industry. Are you really sure that you want to do this thing? Are you really sure? Because it's expensive and it's exhausting and it's kind of like a man's industry. There's not a lot of women out there. I could have let that sit in my head rent-free, and I maybe would have never launched Crush. Do you know that we got nominated for New Small Business of the Year this year? None of that would have happened if I'd listened to him. It would have lived rent-free and it would have had an impact on my future. So my question to you is, what's living rent-free that you need to open the door and push out? What has been holding you back and silencing you? Because whatever it is, we're going to let it go. We're letting it go. It's not serving you. It's not paying you. It's not making you feel good. It's not making you look good. Do you ever notice that when you're stressed and sad, you look like crap? If you want to look better, get happy. You know what I used to say to my clients at my gym? They'd come in and say, I want to look better, I want to lose weight. And I'd say, stand up straight and pull your shoulders back, and you'll lose about 2 inches off your waist. And I said, and change your life. Because it doesn't matter how snatched you are. If you're miserable, you're miserable, and everybody's going to see it. It's an inside job. Thank you, Juanita. I have had men always say something to me, towards me, and mean towards me, and here I am. Terry, you keep going, sissy. I love that. Hi, Anne. The most convenient way for others to live is knowing your silence will nurture their safety and comfort. So sometimes we let our dreams dissipate and disappear after the abuse, after the failure, after the loss, after the shame, after the threats, right? And we let those, you guys, thank you for the hearts. We're at 8.4 thousand hearts. I think something happens at 10. I just love you. Keep them going. Keep them going, TikTok. Thank you. I don't know what happens, but something. I always get this notification. I don't understand TikTok. There's so many things I think that I'm probably leaving on the table, but it's because I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. True story. It's not my zone of genius. That is not my calling. TikTok is not my calling. Talking on TikTok might be part of it, but definitely not TikTok. These are the things that stop us. Somebody said something to us about how we're not worthy, or we're not pretty, or we're not smart, or everything that we do, we screw up, and we don't forget it, and it lives rent free. So yesterday, we were awakening the person that we are, and today we're awakening what has silenced us. And this is a hard one, because what we're doing is we're saying, we're going to go in and do some of the hard work. We're going to go and take a look at what it is that's really hurt me. Like, what has hurt me that has kept me small? So put a yes, just put yes in the comments. Good morning, Vanessa. Thank you for being here. You guys, share this out. Put a yes in the comments. And by the way, you're joining day 2 of the Awaken Challenge. And if you join the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, you get the guides for free. Like, you'll get the guides for it. Otherwise, you can just hang out and you can listen to the questions that I'm asking and you can take notes. But for those of you who are in the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, the guide for today is available to you. Oh, it probably should have been put up. I can't remember. We'll put it up for you. I probably should have put it up in the morning. This is why I need help. I have help. I have amazing help. I just forget to ask them to do things. That's so funny. Oh, actually, if somebody who's a mod, somebody wants to go and post the guide in the group, you could, but I don't. I think it's all good. Anyway, it's all good. In the same way, your greatest path to destruction, listen, the way to depression and anxiety and feeling worthless and feeling purposeless and feeling like you have nothing to offer and feeling like a loser and feeling like you're not lovable and feeling like you don't deserve anything, you know how that comes around? When we actually silence our voices and we don't do the things that God is calling us to do. See, do you believe me? Put yes in the comments. Put yes in the comments if you believe that the thing that you're called to do, you've already probably done. Either you've already done it, you've helped somebody do it, or you had an experience with it. Put a yes in the comments. Because I was able to turn around and reflect. I do this work with my clients where we do a timeline. And I reflected on my life and I thought, I've been doing this work most of my life in lots of different forms. As a teacher, as a champion for my teammates on the bench when I was 16. I actually have a note, and there's a picture of it in my phone, and it says, me and the girls in the clubhouse had a meeting or something like that. And it's in my little young girl handwriting. I was talking about hanging out with my sisters in the clubhouse when I was learning to write. I actually have the picture on my phone because my mom sent that to me and she said, you've always been this person. So I'm asking you, do you know that when you think about it, that you've already done this work? Anne says yes. Juanita says yes. So then what's stopping you? I'm putting a prayer journal, but I can't find anyone to print them. Oh my gosh, go to Tom or just go online to Amazon. Amazon prints them. It's so important that you understand that what you are here to do, you've already done. You're not doing something new. You're awakening her. This is why this challenge is so important, because we're awakening her. We're shaking the tree. You already are her. This is why to embody your identity and worthiness in the Lord is the first step to your awakening. A wounded woman is not a silent woman. An unhealed woman is. Okay, I'm going to say that again. A wounded woman is not a silent woman. An unhealed woman is. What does that mean? We've all been wounded. I've been wounded. Oh, you guys, we made it to 11.2 thousand hearts. Yay, I love you, TikTok. Thank you. Keep going, keep going. Something happens. I think it changes my algorithms. And by the way, if you're new on TikTok and this is landing with you, follow me. If you're new on Facebook or if you're not following me on Facebook, join. If you're not in the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood, get in the room, get the guides, get around the energy of transformation. A wounded woman, we've all been wounded. We're all wounded at some level. It's those of us that don't heal that stay where we are. So this is why healing is such a huge job in the spaces that I work in with my clients. We go right into the healing, because I'll say to them, I know that you want all this. I know that you want the big life, and I know you want the beautiful relationship, and I know you want the money, and I know you want the career, and I know you want to step into your calling because you're so amazing. All of you women and men here are so incredible. You have so much to offer. But let me tell you something. It's not going to happen if you don't heal. It's not going to happen if you don't talk about it. It's not going to happen if you don't expose it. If you don't reveal it, you can't heal it. And so we go into healing first. And what's really crazy is when they start to heal, they start moving at breakneck speeds, because they realize that they could have healed all along. Healing isn't impossible, but it needs your yes. That's it. You're in Muskoka. Oh, another Canadian girl. Yay, Vanessa. Get into the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. We can hang out there. And you can come up here when I open my cafe. My hair is getting so long. It's crazy. Okay, so our scripture is 2 Timothy 1:7. Okay, so for all my Bible people here, open your Bible. If you're not a Bible person, that's okay. The message is still going to land for you. This is for everybody. But you know what? It's funny. The people who come into my world who aren't Bible people, who say they aren't Bible people, they're starting to become Bible people. Thank you, Anne. It's starting to finally get to the length I want it to get to. I'm not going to let my hairdresser touch it because she likes to trim it. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but give us power, love, and self-discipline. So that's one version. The other version is, for God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Listen, your spirit that you were given is not for you to dim down. Keep the hearts coming, TikTok. Let's see if we can get to 15,000. If I was on there, I'd be doing that, but I can't. You were not given a spirit of silence and timidity. That's why I talked about introversion yesterday. I said people who are introverted, really introverted, they just go back and recharge. But introversion does not mean that you disconnect. We know that 2 is better than 1. We were put here on the planet together by God with intention. If he wanted us to be separate and isolated, he would have put 8 billion of us on 8 billion different planets. Introversion does not mean that you don't connect. It doesn't mean that you have purpose. It doesn't mean that you don't use your voice. It doesn't mean that you don't heal and help others. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be in community. It doesn't mean that. When you're introverted, it means that you go back and you plug in quietly, that you need the alone time. Some people charge in a room. Some people charge alone. That's really what that means. But people use it as a reason. Some people use it as a reason to not step into their calling, and that's just an excuse. So 3 things I want you to write down and take away from this live. Number 1, you do not owe anything to what has happened to you, first of all. You do not owe anything to what has happened to you. In other words, if you were abused, you don't owe your abuse any more of you or your abuser. If you are divorced, you don't owe your ex or the divorce itself any more of you. Do you get that? You have paid your dues. Put that in the comments. I've paid my dues, baby. You've paid your dues. You're done. You don't need to keep circling in it. You don't need to keep talking about it. You don't need to keep thinking about it. You don't need to keep allowing it be the reason why you're not doing the thing that you're doing. You've paid your dues. Has anybody thought about how many hours you have given your ex? How many hours of thinking and pain and tears have you given your ex or your abuser? And yet we say, I wouldn't give them the time of day. Well, you give them the time of day all day, every day by not doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. There's actually more to that than you talking to them in a room if you saw them. The impact that they're having on your life is way more important to talk about and to address than if you see them in the room and say hello. Like that is not, that's nothing compared to what they've already done and what you're allowing them to do. And when I say to women, you realize that you're still in bed with your ex. I would never be in bed with my ex. You're in bed with him every day. Every day. You think about him when you go to bed. You think about him when you get up. You think about him in the middle of the night. You write about him. You talk about him. Baby, you're still in bed with him. Even though he's sleeping around or even though he's over here married and he's not given you one thought, you're still in bed with him. And until you actually get out of bed and say, out, I'm not going to be in this bed one more moment with you. I'll leave this building if I have to. Until you do that, you will continue to be in bed with him. And I could say the same about your abuser. I could say the same about anything. And I know this might feel sticky for some people, but listen, that's over. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to give them any time of day, or are you going to say, oh, just watch? When I left abuse, he said, I can't wait to see you fail. And I looked at him and I said, just you watch. And my gym became the #1 gym in the city. Baby, I didn't fail. That doesn't mean that I haven't failed. It just means that what he wanted, and I refused. And I'm inviting you today to do the same. Unhealed wound. Fear is often the greatest muzzle and our greatest disobedience. You were born with purpose. You are here because there is something that you're supposed to be doing here. And I promise you, it's not being depressed. I promise you, it's not being sad. I promise you, it's not being anxious. I promise you that it's not lying in bed, eating bonbons. You are here to do more. We are all here to do more. Fear is the greatest muzzle and the greatest disobedience. Fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of being too much, fear of others feeling hurt. This is a big one. So many women don't do what they want to do or say what they want to say or go where they want to go. Why? Because they're worried that they might hurt others. The very people that hurt them, they are afraid to hurt. Now, here's something I want to share with you. We're not out to hurt people, but they decide if they're hurt or not. Sometimes you realize that sometimes people are going to feel hurt because we're doing the right thing. People may feel hurt when you decide to follow God. Are you going to not follow God because your partner isn't a believer? Like, what's more important to you? I've had so many women say to me, I'm really afraid to step in and do my work or to share my story because I don't want to hurt other people. And I'm like, how long have you been hurting? How long are you planning on hurting in the name of others? Because I'll tell you, your silence is their joy. Now, I'm not saying go out and reveal their name. In fact, one of the programs I run called your 3-Minute Story Masterclass, I teach women how to share their story without sharing the details. Because here's the thing. I've been restricted and I don't know why on TikTok. Here's the thing. Listen to me. You don't need to share their name. You don't even need to share what happened in detail. That's not what people want to hear. People want to hear what you did to get out. So when I teach women how to speak, your 3-Minute Story Masterclass, which is coming up after next week, we'll be talking about your 3-Minute Story Masterclass. What I do is I share with women the skill of sharing the story without sharing the details. Why? Because you don't need to give them any more time. So you can go and share your story. You'll never say their name and you'll never say what happened. But here's the thing. If they say, I know you're talking about me, that's not your problem because they chose to do it. Like, how long are you going to protect the people who hurt you, who don't give two craps about you? Unhealed wounds create silos of silence. Just by saying, I don't want to hurt the person who hurt me, okay, that's not the goal. The goal is that you share your story. If they get hurt or not, it's not your problem. But do you realize that by you not sharing, you remain unhealed? And when you remain unhealed, you live in a silo of silence. So you're in a silo and they're out running in the fields. Are you going to protect them? You can forgive them. You can say, I've moved on. You get to share your story. You get to share what happened to you. Just because it's going to upset them, that's not your problem. In fact, maybe it will trigger their healing. Jesus always called people out. I know what you've done. He didn't tiptoe around people. He would say, I know what you've done. And then he would say, go change. It's the same thing. You could say to your perp or to your ex or to the addiction, I know what you've done. Go change. It's your problem, not mine. Why are we protecting people in exchange for our own joy? And I know TikTok's now restricting me. Boo, TikTok. That's okay. I still have my 14.8. We have 14.8 thousand hearts. We only need 0.2 more. Many women were told that to stay quiet is to stay safe. To stay silent is to slowly die. Who told you to stay quiet? Just wondering. Who told you that your silence is right? Who told you that to be a real woman, to be a strong, empowered woman, to be a good woman is to stay quiet? Have you ever thought about that? Do you think that maybe, just possibly, they have some skin in the game? If we're looking at the patriarchy, look at what's happened to women as a result. That's why so many of us are saying, no, not anymore. And it's so interesting because biblically, Jesus had women all around him and he would say, go and share, go and give your testimony, go and tell it on the mountain. He didn't want women staying quiet. He wanted women to get out there because he knows the power of our stories and of our testimony. Number one, fear is often the greatest muzzle in our greatest disobedience. Number two, unhealed wounds create silos of silence. Number three, the enemy attacks voices he fears. If your voice wasn't powerful, there would be no need to silence it. So whether you're choosing to silence your voice or somebody else has told you that you need to silence your voice, you realize that that's just the devil coming in saying, you're going to be quiet. You're going to be a good girl. You're going to just stay status quo, stay in your little box, play small, don't upset anybody, don't ruffle feathers, don't be too loud, don't be too bold, don't be too truthful, don't be too healed, don't be too confident, don't be too courageous, because if you're any of those things, you could really shake the tree. That's the part that they don't say. And I'm telling you, go shake the tree. We are told, for the spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. All of these things that we carry, he gave to us. Why are we playing small? It's not because it's God calling us to, don't come up to me and say, I'm really hearing that God wants me to not share my story. That's a lie from the pit of hell. That's your fear talking. Don't mix up your fear with God's plan. Here's the declaration for the week as we go into the day. You ready for it? Is this good or what? Come on, you guys. When I stopped playing small, my whole life flipped upside down. And sometimes people will say to me, I didn't know that you were going to share that. Are you comfortable sharing that? And I'll say, yeah, I am. Because I spent my whole life feeling vanilla. And I spent my whole life feeling like what I had to say didn't matter. And you know why? Because I wasn't saying anything of any significance. I was only saying what was expected. I wasn't saying what I really wanted to say. And now that I say what I really want to say, I'm a whole other person. So yeah, I do want to say that. And I'm sorry if you don't agree. But I'm not changing the way that I live to keep you comfortable. Here's your declaration. I break agreement with fear and reclaim my voice in his name. I break agreement with fear. Because see, if you are living in fear of anything, you've agreed to be fearful. You're like, okay, let's hold hands. And this declaration is saying, I break agreement. I break agreement with fear. I'm no longer sitting beside fear. I am not going to approve of you. If you're going to hang out, which you will, you can sit in the back seat, but I'm breaking agreement with you. I'm not doing you anymore. You don't have a say. I don't think you're right. I don't think it's good for me. I don't think it's safe for me. I've thought about it. No more. I break agreement with fear and reclaim my voice in his name. Because see, remember, you were given a voice by God. You were given your memory by God. You were given your intuition by God. You were given your ability to tell stories by God. You were given your compassion by God. You were given your wisdom by God. You know when spidey senses go up when something doesn't feel right? God gave that to you. And when you feel like you want to say something and you don't, that's God. God's the one that's saying, say something. And you're the one that is agreeing with fear, saying, I'm not going to say anything. Have you ever been in a room where you thought, I need to speak up and I didn't? And then afterwards you thought, you know what? I should have said something. I didn't say it because, and then you come up with all the reasons. But that's not God. God's the one that said, say something, but you're overriding him with fear. But we are breaking agreement today. We are not living in that anymore. Today we are awakening to what has silenced us. We're paying attention to the voices that have silenced us. That's what we're doing in day 2 of Awaken. So here's your question. You ready for it? I love you guys. Thank you for being here. This is so good. Here's the question I want you to reflect on. Share this out to your community. Share it in your stories, share it on your feed. Here's the question. What has been stealing your voice? And when you share this, if you can put a little comment in there, that's what you should put. What has been stealing or who has been stealing your voice? Because we need, thank you for sharing, Anne. We need to recognize that it's us, not them. We have spent a whole lot of time blaming other people. When women come into my world, every time that they want to blame somebody, I stop them. And I know that my clients sometimes feel frustrated by that because I'll say, whoa, stop. Sometimes I'll say, I'm sorry, but I have to interrupt you. I have to interrupt you. And they'll say, what? And I'll say, I want you to reframe this because all you've done, and listen to what you're saying. All you've done is blame everybody else for where you are. But I'm going to tell you something. This is a waste of your money working with me if you're just going to sit here and tell me what you've told all your friends. So we're going to come into my space and we're going to look at the reality. And you're going to have a transformation here. You're not having a transformation with your friends because they're agreeing with you. That's why you're wanting to work with me, because when you work with me, I'm not going to show up as your friend who's the yes person. I'm going to show up as the person who's going to challenge you, put a mirror up and say, which way do you want to go? The way that you've always gone or the way that you've never gone? Which is the path of healing and truth and transformation. So yesterday, we're awakening the woman that we are meant to be. Today, we are awakening what has silenced us. In other words, we're getting really clear about why we're silencing. We're taking ourselves out of the silence silo and we're putting ourselves out in the field where the people who probably were some of the reasons why we are the way we are, that's where they are. Oh, they're out running in the fields of daisies and we're in the silo, in the dark, silent, alone, isolated, suffering. No more. I love you. And I want you to awaken in the greatest possible way. I want you to have everything that you've ever dreamt of. And you can, but it's going to require healing. And it's going to require a rise, maybe a rise that you've never actually experienced before. A kind of rise that's going to blow your socks off because you haven't ever stepped into this version of yourself. You have never said, I'm living for me now. I love the people around me and I'm going to take care, but I'm going to take care of me first. When we do that, mountains move. And your awakening is going to heal somebody else's life. And that's really exciting. What I have loved most about my own journey is how my yes has affected so many other women. I got a text message this morning from one of my clients who's been with me for years. And she said, I held a sister circle last night with women. And it reminds me how full circle I've come, that I used to sit in this very same place with you. She was saying this to me, and cry tears of distress and sadness because she had left a marriage where her husband was heavily addicted. And she said, and now I am here holding circle and holding space for other women in the very same yard that I used to take calls with you from. Isn't that gorgeous? That lights me up. When women actually do the healing work so that they start healing others with their transformation. Okay, that was day 2 of Awaken. Tomorrow's day 3. Tomorrow we start diving into some of the next steps of like activating your voice, really taking a hold of who you are and what you want to do. So make sure that you're here tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. If you want access to the guide, join the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. You can go to romymarlowe.com. And it's a sisterhood where you can be who you are. You can say what you need to say. There is no judgment. Everybody in that space is there because they need a room to breathe. We spend so much time in rooms where we edit our words and where we keep it quiet. And the Uncommon Woman Sisterhood is a space where women can exhale and heal. So go to romymarlowe.com if you want to join Uncommon Woman Sisterhood. Put the coupon code June10 when you check out, and you pay $19 for the month. And you can check it out. We have a call on Thursday, and then we have our God's Girl guest call the following Thursday. So we've got 2 more calls this month. And there's also Uncommon Mamas, which is tomorrow, which is a group within that group for mamas who have children with autism. It's really powerful. Okay. Before we go, I'm just going to pray us out. Lord, I pray over every single woman and man on this call that they allow you to speak into their hearts, that you show them who they already are, that you awaken within them the trust and the faith and the knowing that you provide so that they will move forward in a way that they've never moved forward before. Lord, I ask you to be with them as they make some of these bold moves, because these bold moves are the kinds of moves that move mountains, and they can feel sticky and they can feel hard and we can feel uncertain. But just like all of the examples in the Bible, like Moses and like Joshua and like Mary, we know that what seems impossible to us is easy for you. So give us the wisdom and the faith and the courage we need to awaken who we are and to rise so that we can share your story, so that we can share our testimonies, so that we can share our gifts, the God-given gifts that you delivered to us the day that we were born or before, that you will provide. We have full faith that you will give to us abundantly and more than we could ever imagine. But the only requirement is that we are obedient. So here we are, Lord, obedient to your word, in full faith that what you have planned for us is more than we could ever imagine. Be with my community, be with my Uncommon hosts, be with all the people who are on these lives every morning, be with everybody who is here. Allow them to feel the shift, allow them to see you with their own eyes, allow them the freedom that you want for them in this lifetime. Give them the wisdom to say yes to you and take the narrow path. In Jesus' name, amen and hallelujah. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. You guys, thank you. 20K. What? How does that even happen? You guys, we just doubled my goal. I love you. Thank you so, so much, TikTok. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to my uncommon hosts. You guys, this is amazing. Join us tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard for Awaken Day 3. We have Day 3 and Day 4, and then Day 5, which is Friday, is a rest day and a day to do the work. And then we start with the Find Your Voice Challenge on Monday. So we got a really full 9 days of work, but you got to do the work or it won't land. I love you too. Hi, Bill Dennis. Hi, Trini. Have a beautiful day, everybody. God bless. Stay uncommon. See you. Love you.